All right, aloha. We are on day 5 where we are going to plan our first week or more of the school year. I'm Fleur with Aloha Money Teaching, and thanks for joining me all week long with this back to school challenge. If you missed any of them, I have all of the links for you. This is where for me, this is like the most fun part. So we have already set up our systems and everything, and now we get to plan. So let's begin. We have a lot of work to do. So our goal for today is to plan engaging and community building activities for the first week of school. And then I'll also show you a lab safety plan. And then that'll give you like at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks worth of lesson plans ready. These are the workbook pages, and you'll see the same page in the Teacher Survival Kit if you got that. So we're going to go over something that I call GROW. And then these are all of the workbook pages from the Teacher Survival Kit. And here's what is in that Teacher Survival Kit. So we've got the GROW info and template on what you just saw. And then I have some activities. And I'll go through each of these. And then I have just Word documents for the first days of school lesson plans, and I'll explain those later. All right, so let's talk about GROW and what that is. So I love learning about the brain, how it works, how kids learn, and all of that. So that's what I based GROW off of. It has to do with growing our brains. And the G stands for goals. So this is for like planning a unit. So when you're planning your unit for goals, you're going to write down the standards, learning goals, and objectives. You can also think about the assessment that you're going to give, or list those assessment types of questions that, and if you don't have your assessment ready, what do you want to assess? So thinking about the end in mind. So that's what goals are. Relevance, this has to do with relevance and connections. So when planning your unit, you'll want to have ideas on the relevance or connections that students can make to your material. That's going to help them make neural connections in their brains, and then it'll help move information from their short-term or working memory into hopefully long-term memory. O is for options. When you're thinking of options, think about the kinds of strategies that you'll use during your instruction or their practice to reach all of your learners. So, what strategies will you use? What brain breaks or processing activities will you give? When you're planning if you're using this for your units, options will probably remain the same just because a lot of the brain breaks and processing activities that we're going to use to help them like build those neural connections in their brains are going to be pretty similar. So you could get specific. What kind of brain break are you going to use or something like that? And for work, the W is the assignments that you're going to have students complete. You want to make sure the work is meaningful and it is meant to strengthen those neural connections in your students' brains. Okay, so let's just think about the first week back with building classroom community, learning classroom expectations, those types of things. So I listed some goals, some ideas that could be goals. So we want our students to be able to communicate with each other. We want them to get to know each other in the classroom. We want them to be a part of a caring classroom community. And we also want them to demonstrate understanding of our classroom procedures. So those could be some goals that you would write down. Relevance and connections. So thinking about the kids' background, knowledge, experiences. So everyone is new to your classroom. They might know each other, they might not know each other. So everybody is new. So that's like a connection you can make. You've been new before. Everybody is new to the grade level. Everyone's been in hopefully a science classroom or not. So you'll find how to connect this to your students' lives. Why is it relevant? All right, for options, so you can do some different brain breaks like love it or leave it. This comes from a book. It's a brain break book, and I can link that. It's fun. So the kids stand up, and somebody says something like Marvel movies, and if they love it, they go like this. If they don't, if it says leave it, then they stomp their feet. So it's just a little brain break, gives them time to process information. You could give them think time before they share. So let's say you're doing those group discussions or getting to know each other activities, have them draw or write something, and then they talk with, or they can talk with someone before sharing out with the class. And they could teach or explain a procedure to a partner. So those are different strategies that we could use during instruction to get them to process the information we're teaching them and to, internalize it more. Finally, for W, the work. So this is just a list. So you can think of this like we're brainstorming right now. We haven't written it out into our actual lesson plans yet. So some work we could do are scavenger hunts. We can do a STEM activity. Actually, these are in the back to school bundle. We can do birthday chart. I'll show you about that. Teach them the procedures, how to work, how to talk in a group, and then play a four corners game. So I will go through those activities. So these are the scavenger hunts. I had some copies. There they are. These are editable. These are really cool. I know I talked about it, I think, in another video, but so there you just print them out. Well, you can edit it, print it out, and then they go around the room and stuff like that. So there's a Find Someone Who, which I really like because they get to know each other. The procedure that I teach during Find Someone Who is how to walk around the room, how to ask questions, how to ask for someone's name if you don't know it, that sort of, those kinds of things. There's a classroom scavenger hunt, so they get to know the resources around the room. I have them look for things on the walls and stuff like that. Also, procedure I teach with that is walking around the room, working with each other. Textbook scavenger hunt, when we get into our books, I have them get to know like where the index is, glossary, using a table of contents, that sort of thing. There's a school one, if you want to take the kids around the school to get to know that. And then I also have a lab equipment scavenger hunt in here that you can use during your lab safety and lab equipment lessons. The STEM activity, this one's pretty cool. I wish I had a picture of it. So I will be doing this, and if you, I can show you on social media or in emails later. So this is just a really, really simple STEM activity. The worksheet is optional. This stuff is all in the back to school bundle. So this one, you give them some construction paper, cardstock, and masking tape and scissors. And as a class, you brainstorm problems in your area. So in Arizona, we would say like we have no rain, we need water, or it's really hot. Some kids will mention like the animals and how people are building and their habitats, those types of things. And then you have kids work with a partner and they choose one of the problems to solve. If your class is struggling with choosing, just assign a problem and then they come up with a solution. And then they build a model out of the materials that you give them. So this is just a easy, quick way to introduce the engineering design process and have students collaborate and get creative. So using those, the 4 C's of 21st century thinking. Birthday charts. So this is in the teacher survival kit. And what I like to do here is put each month around the room and the students just go and fill in their birthday. And then you can put these on the wall. This procedure that I teach here is walking around the room and then coming back to your desk. I try to teach them like a path around the room so they're not all bumping into each other. Classroom procedures. This is in the back to school bundle. So when you click on this in the file, if you bought this, there are 2 Canva templates. They're PowerPoints. And when you use Canva, just like in the if you watch the previous video with Meet the Teacher, our PowerPoint there, it's the same thing. So you need a Canva account. There's free ones. And then you'll click on each of these pictures to get the templates. So the classroom procedures template PowerPoint is what I use to teach, like different types of procedures when they walk in the room, when they turn in work, whatever, go to the nurse, go to the bathroom. Like I teach this to the kids and then we practice it, and then reinforce it, correct it if they are not doing the procedure. So this is what you want to obviously do for the first couple weeks of school, hopefully not that long. Some classes will pick it up right away. And I also put in a group discussion procedures PowerPoint, and this is to help teach. Oh, let me actually have a slide for that. This one, you can teach kids how to talk in a group and how to take turns. There's some discussion questions in there. And then they're also practicing their listening skills because you will call on a student from each group to share what they heard someone else say. So that those are 2 PowerPoints. This is something I do in the first week of school. So those are the first week of school. Now, I want to show you something. I don't have it on here. All right, I'm going to switch my screen real quick. Let me get rid of this. Okay, hi. So I have this free calendar, and you probably already, I don't know if you haven't downloaded it yet, it's just free. It's just monthly calendars like this. And it also has these weekly sheets. So what I do is I use the calendar for my lesson plans. I just jot down what we're doing each day. It's not detailed at all. This is where I get detailed and I write down everything we're doing. So this is my current stuff right here. So here we have no school. We start very early. So Wednesday, I wrote down what we're going to do. I have advisory. So we're going to practice discussing in groups with that PowerPoint. And in science, we're going to go over procedures and do the scavenger hunt, find someone who. Thursday, I'll go over procedures, do a classroom scavenger hunt, and play Four Corners. Four Corners, the sun is right there. Four Corners is like, what did you do this summer? Like hobbies, that kind of thing, to get to know each other. And Friday, reviewing more procedures. In science class, we're doing group discussion procedures. And then we'll probably start some lab safety notes. Obviously, this is, I write it in pencil on purpose because things change. Now, I also have notes here. So that way I don't forget different things. I list my bell work here. So I have that. And those are my first 3 days because we start on a Wednesday. I am working on this. So for the first complete week of school. So I just wanted to show you that. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about lab safety. So science, lab safety. If you got the ultimate bundle, or if you have the lab safety bundle, we are going to talk about that. Okay. So let's go ahead and use GROW for lab safety, our lab safety unit. All right. Our goal, we want students to demonstrate lab safety. Relevance and connections. Well, for labs, students really like doing labs. They get really excited. So they want to follow the lab safety rules so they can participate. Connection, 7th graders. I teach 7th grade, but they've done labs before, so they know how important safety is. Options. Again, this is the part that will look similar every single time. So for brain breaks and processing time, I'll have them draw or write a lab safety rule and share it with a partner. In my lab safety PowerPoints, I have purposely put in slides for think time and processing time. So that's part of my options. Excuse me. And for work, we have notes. They're going to write notes and they're able to sketch if they want to. Projects, I have choices for them because you want to make sure you incorporate choice as much as you can into or a variety of methods. Even if it's not necessarily they're getting choices, if they're doing a variety of things, that is really good for their brains because they're using different parts of their brains. Other work would be labs, which would be working with each other, and then a test to evaluate them. All right, let's see what it looks like in a 5E lesson or unit. So 5E is just, it means the 5Es are engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So for engage, this would be at the beginning of your unit. I would have them play the lab safety four corners. That would take about 15 minutes or so. And then for explore, I could have them go through some lab equipment stations to get to know it. That would take about a class period. You can do other things for explore. This is just an example. Explain, I will go over the lab safety PowerPoint and have them take their notes, go over their lab safety contract. Elaborate, give them their projects to complete. So for my grade level classes, I usually have them do the poster. I might give them a different choice this year just because they do love choice. My GATE classes get to choose from any of the projects. And evaluate, review before you give them, I like to review before I give them a test. So we review and then I'll give them the lab safety test. So if you got the lab safety bundle or the ultimate bundle, you have this 5E lesson plan already done for you. So this right here would take 1 to maybe 1.5, 2 weeks. And then your first few weeks of school are planned. All you have to do is get your materials ready. Like, how cool is that? Way less stress. All right, I want to show you one more thing. So I showed you this lesson plan, how I have this written out. I included in the teacher survival kit, and you can do this on your own. This is just in a Word document. A very detailed first day or second day or third day, however many days you need, very detailed lesson plans for you. Okay, so here's why I do this. This helps me to get adapted to school again. It keeps me on schedule. I always overplan just because I don't want to have downtime. Because if I have downtime, that's when misbehaviors tend to happen. So I usually overplan, or I have a list of things we can do if there is downtime. And this format is just super easy to edit. Like I said, keep it super simple. It's easy to edit for the next day. And then just keep it for every year. It's super easy to use. What I do is I type up, I do each class period because I put the times so I don't lose track of time. So I have my duty. I don't know if that's my duty this year, but I just typed it there. And then I have like first period is from 8:20 to 9:25. And so here I'm writing down the procedures that I'm teaching. So that, and I tell the students this is what they do when they walk in. So I'm already teaching procedures and practicing and reinforcing. I have my bell work, what they do with supplies, take attendance, because I don't want to forget to take attendance, and go over procedures. And our school does these teach twos, so I type that in there. This, I'm going to edit this for this school year. This is from last year. Birthday, that birthday activity. And then just other activities. So if you look where it says 9 to 9:15, I have three different activities listed. So we have, it depends on how much time there is. So I have my find someone who, we can play 20 questions or 2 truths and a lie. 20 questions is fun. They love this. So here's what I do for 20 questions. I pick a kid and then they come up and I write something on the whiteboard like bear, a noun. And they don't look at the whiteboard, but the rest of the class sees it. And the student has to ask the class 20 yes or no questions. If you're lower on time, do 10 questions. So they ask a question. If it's yes, the students stand up. If it's no, they sit down. And then we keep track of that. And then the student has to guess what the word is. So that one's really fun. They really enjoy that. 2 truths and a lie. They write 3 statements about themselves. 2 are true and 1 is false. And then you have to figure out which one's false. And in the back to school bundle, I have some stuff for that. So that's like, I have my backup plan depending on how much time is left, and I can choose which one I want to do. So it's flexible. And so I just do that for every single class period. And then at the end of the day, because I check what we did, and then I copy and paste and do my second day of school lesson plans. And I put in the activities we did not do. I put in new activities, what procedures I'm teaching, and all of that. So I make it very detailed. And so I included that for you if you feel like that would be helpful for you. I know it definitely helps me. All right. So we planned the first week activities. We brainstormed them, lab safety too. And so you, oh, I didn't update this. So this is not the correct picture. But so I want you to share your first week ideas, is what I want you to do for your homework. This picture is not correct. So ignore that picture. I will have the correct one in the post. So share your first week ideas. And when we're done with this, you would have reached the goal of planning, engaging, and community building activities for the first week of school. And I cannot wait to see all your ideas, and I can't wait to hear how it goes when school does start and how less stressed you are because you have done the work during this challenge. All right, let's go.